It's like that adage that Reagan used to talk about with the young boy in there shoveling all the pony dung. And like, what the hell are you doing? With this mound of dung, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere, So yes, we have to stay eternally optimistic. I'm obviously super bullish. I love our portfolio. I just added personal money to the Skybridge Series G, which was down a lot this past year. And I'm going to add money every single month because I believe in what we're doing. But I'm going to tell you, when I made the decision to accept the money from Sam, I thought it was a brilliant strategic decision. I thought I was teaming up with the second largest cryptocurrency exchange, 12.5% of the market share.
Though crypto asset prices are quickly recovering from the disastrous FTX collapse, many people, especially investors who were directly connected to Sam Bankman-Fried, are still completely caught up in the mess the former crypto billionaire created with his fallen crypto empire. According to reports, FTX lawyers have again confirmed that SBF's hedge fund Alameda Research had access to a $65 billion credit line from FTX. They have also confirmed that SBF had an accounting backdoor coded to give Alameda access to customer funds on FTX. One of those investors still caught in the whirlwind of the collapse is Anthony Scaramucci, the founder of Skybridge Capital, the New York-based investment management firm that sold 30% of its shares to SBF in September 2022. FTX Ventures reportedly funded the fund with cash to grow the company, launch new products, and add cryptocurrencies, including FTT, to its balance sheet. In return, Scaramucci introduced SBF to other hedge fund managers and venture capitalists. When trouble struck, he also traveled to the Bahamas to assist SBF with his exchange's financial struggles. Last week, the Skybridge Capital founder told reporters he toured the Middle East with SBF last year. This tour, Scaramucci believes, contributed immensely to the events that later caused the FTX collapse. According to the former White House Director of Communications, SBF badmouthed Binance chief executive Changpeng Zhao a lot during the tour just a few weeks before the eventual collapse in November. Scaramucci said SBF said some nasty things about seasoned Saudi, which prompted the Chinese-Canadian business executive to sell much of his FTT cryptocurrency in early November. Despite Skybridge Capital recording a 39% loss in 2022, Scaramucci said he is still a complete believer in the cryptocurrency industry and the great things it offers. In a recent interview with Crypto Banter alongside veteran hedge fund manager Mark Yusko, the former White House Director of Communications discusses his post-FTX struggles with Skybridge and on the personal front. We will now take you through the explosive interview with Scaramucci and Yusko. But before we do, please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Also, ensure you drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Everything helps with the YouTube algorithm, so we can continue to bring you these videos. Thanks and enjoy the video.
I'm all in on crypto, and I kept my hair, which I'm very happy about, okay? Because the stress level of you people, I thought I would have aged 25 years and lost every follicle on the top of my head. But here I am, still here.
Yeah, you're still here.
I am all in on crypto. And by the way, I'm almost out on the Sam Bankman-Fried thing, too. I mean, we're going to get those shares back hopefully shortly. So, well, no, we haven't gotten the shares back yet, but I'm very optimistic about it. I mean, we are in the process of negotiating, and so we'll get our shares back. I mean, the good news is there were no economic preferential treatment to the FTX situation. So there's really nobody that's going to have an interest in those shares other than us. So that's good news. But, Patrick it's interesting because Patrick is probably where I was 2 years ago. And I'm probably a year and a half behind Mark Yusko because Mark, I credit you, and I've said this before on Crypto Banter, with helping me get in this space because I have such respect for you. And I remember when you entered the space, I said, okay, I got to get myself up to speed on this. And I've gotten my ass kicked. I've gotten my living ass kicked. I mean, let's just be honest about it. If a monkey, I'm just going to talk very openly. If a monkey was flipping coins last year, they would have done a better job than our decision making. How's that for? So
I want to talk about that for a sec. Mitch, I want to talk about that for a second.
We just did everything that you could possibly think of wrong. And I thought they were all good decisions. So I'm happy to take you through every one of them, but that's what happened to us.
So you're just the babe, Mooch. So
say that again more.
No, you're like Babe Ruth. So Babe Ruth is doing his press conference years ago, and he's got his drink in his hand, and the guy says, "Babe, how you feeling?" Right? You struck out 4 times. He's like, "Oh, it's awesome." And people are like, "Well, what are you talking about? You struck out 4 times. Like, I'm that much closer to the next home run."
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point. It's like that. It's like that adage that Reagan used to talk about with the young boy in there shoveling all the pony dung. And like, what the hell are you doing? With this mound of dung, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere. It's not the things that we worry about that get us in trouble. I know Bitcoin's a high vol asset. I know that I've got trades on that could not work for me. But it's the things that I think with absolute certainty that I'm correct about that get me in trouble, okay? I thought Sam was money good. Now, you guys can excoriate me now. We like to blame victims of the fraud, and I get all that. But I thought he was money good. And that was more trouble than a 100 vol asset or an 80 vol asset like Bitcoin. And listen, I'm 35 years in the industry, 18 years of this business, But remember, he gave me the money, so the problem is he hurt my reputation. I took him to meet people that I had 3-decade relationships with. And so I had relationships with people that were older than Sam was on planet Earth that I was taking him to meet. And he betrayed the trust of me and many others by doing that. And it was just ridiculously reckless of him to do that. But you're bringing up something, I just want to address it. We blame the victims in our society. So when we look at the list of Theranos investors, they say, oh, those are all stupid people. Goldman Sachs got hit by that guy in Malaysia. Okay. Oh, they've got to be stupid people. The point being is if someone's perpetrating a fraud, they can do a number on you. Yep. And you could be an honest person and not see it. He had a pristine data room, pristine. He had pristine venture capital investors. He was a very well-regarded guy. People can pretend otherwise now because of what we know, but he was a very well-regarded guy.
No, look, I mean, to that point, on CNBC, they called him, the JP Morgan of our age. They called him the John D. Rockefeller of our age, the Cornelius Vanderbilt of our age. I mean, hell, they called him they called him Jesus Christ. They called him the Jesus Christ of crypto. That's blasphemy. And down here in North Carolina, they called him the Michael Jordan, right? Even more blasphemous in North Carolina. But I mean, this guy perpetrated a fraud. Same thing with Elizabeth. And, people are like, oh, Tim Draper's an idiot. Tim Draper, literally one of the 5 smartest people I've ever met in my life. I'm privileged to be able to call him, I can't call him a friend, but
I love him.
Business partner. One of the smartest people on this planet. And yeah, he got hoodwinked by Elizabeth, but Elizabeth was a liar.
There have been a lot of conjectures about the reason for the well-orchestrated events that led to the FTX collapse. Some people like Mark Yusko still believe that big-wing U.S. politicians and regulators deliberately orchestrated the collapse to set back the cryptocurrency industry and bring it under control. At least half of these conjectures are believable when one considers SBF's connection with regulators and politicians, to which he heavily donated in the United States. Though crypto asset prices have now recovered slightly, there might yet be more consequences from the FTX collapse, especially on the regulatory front. Let's get back to the interview as Mark Yusko discusses why he believes the collapse was orchestrated to set the industry back by a few years.
I believe, and it's just my belief. I don't, and some of it's rooted in fact. I believe that a much larger group that does not want crypto to survive and thrive. Great. Look, there are too many weird things, right? This company didn't exist 6 years ago, did not exist. And it became the second largest on paper, because it actually wasn't real, second largest crypto exchange in the world. Tell me where the original money came from to start the company. The company was started a week after Biden gets into office. The largest contributor to Biden's campaign was Sam Bankman-Fried. Sam Bankman-Fried's mother is a large Tornado Cash operator. That's not actually Tornado Cash, but basically what she does is the equivalent of Tornado Cash. She scrubs political campaign contributions so the venture capitalists can get around campaign finance laws. That's what she does. The dad, went to Yale with all the, glitterati in DC as an advisor to 3-letter agencies. Taught Peter Thiel, gave him the deal on. Right? So and here's the thing: in the old days, if I wanted to bribe somebody, in the old days, yeah, exactly. I mean, you take it down. The black hats are going to show up. So look, I would meet Mooch at the park, and I'd have my backpack, and I'd put it on the bench, and I'd walk away, and he's like, Mark, you left your backpack. And just keep walking, and he looks in the backpack, and it's full of cash. He's like, oh, okay. No way to trace that. No way to trace that. But here's the thing: if the government sends money on chain to the Ukrainian government, who then sends it to FTX, who then sends it to Alameda, who then puts it in a shell company. Here's a stat that is hard to believe. There are 400-ish companies in the Alameda portfolio, 400. 200 of them, just let that number sink in, 200 of them were shell companies owned solely by SBF.
Wow, this is a huge
definition of money laundering.
So you're basically saying that he wanted to wreck the crypto market by imploding. Okay,
correct.
Did he do that? Did he
No,
wreck the market?
What he did is he set us back. What I'm talking about is, again, and again, it wasn't Sam. It was not Sam. And it wasn't Caroline. Oh God, it was not Caroline. Whew, not Caroline. Yeah. Caroline's dad was a certain person's boss. That certain person with no experience became the head of a 3-letter agency. Okay. It's interesting. Interesting how that happens. Now, here's the thing. If $1 billion leaves banks and goes into crypto, no one cares. I describe it like this. 2009 to 15 was the first they ignore you phase. Right? Bunch of nerds and geeks playing with their magic internet money. Who gives a shit? No care. Then they laugh at you. 2016 to 21. God, look at those nerds and geeks playing with their magic internet money. A bunch of idiots. 2022 to 27. Then they fight you. Now, the cool thing is the last part of that is then you win. But I will argue we've already won. If you're here, if you're in crypto, you've already won, because it's so inevitable that everything in the world will run on blockchains, and it will be the power. We will all be self-sovereign, and we will all. But the banks, $1 billion leaves, they don't care. $10 billion leaves, they don't care. $50 billion leaves, they care. Where's it going? Celsius, Voyager, BlockFi. Who did they attack? Celsius, Voyager, BlockFi. Now you can say Celsius idiots because they had the token. Okay, Voyager idiots because they had the token. BlockFi had no token, by the way. Then you have FTX token.
What are your thoughts on Yusko and Scaramucci's assessment of the FTX collapse? Please drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Also, ensure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out our other videos. Thanks for watching.